Hello, everyone. I'm Miss Rosado, and I have my partner and friend here, Mr. Ortiz.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is Mr. Ortiz.
And today we're going to be presenting a few slides and some musical examples on the Latino influence on hip hop and what hip hop means to us as Latinos, not only as Latinos growing up, but also now as teachers. So, Mr. Ortiz, do you have anything you want to add before we start our presentation?
Yeah, I do. I just want to say the reason why we're doing this is because I believe me and Rosado had agreed that Latinos really don't get the credit they deserve for not only the beginning of hip hop, but the influence that they have on the hip hop culture today. So that's why we're really doing it for Hispanic Heritage Month to bring awareness to this particular topic and how much we've contributed to the culture.
All right, and I also wanted to piggyback on what Mr. Ortiz said. I know a lot of our students think of us as like we're older now. We have no idea about hip hop or anything that they're talking about. But I just want to say, and I'm a little biased, that we grew up in the right era of hip hop. So we're gonna give you guys a little history lesson.
It's these kids that really have no idea what they missed out on.
Yeah, exactly. But, so for the teachers who are watching this, I hope you guys get a nice little throwback on what it was to grow up in the essence and the beautiful era of hip hop. And for the youngins who are our students, I hope that you learned something new. So we're gonna kick off our presentation with what is it, Mr. Ortiz? What song is it?
This is Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang, and it is one of the first mainstream hip-hop songs that was released.
And I just want to add that Sugar Hill Gang is actually from New Jersey, and they're from Inglewood, New Jersey, and we're going to go into the birthplace of hip-hop, but the first mainstream popular song was performed by a group from New Jersey. So
always got to represent Jersey. That's another place that doesn't get enough credit.
Exactly. So without further ado, let's start our beautiful hip hop presentation, and I hope that you guys enjoy it. This song has been sampled a million times, by the way, so I'm sure people have heard this beat before.
Listen, if you haven't heard this song, I don't know what to tell you.
One of the most sampled verses also.
What you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet. See, I like to say hello. I'm to the black, to the white, the red, and the brown, the purple, and yellow. But first, I gotta bang, bang, the boogie to the boogie, say up, jump, the boogie to the bang, bang, boogie.
So here we go with the birthplace and what is hip hop. So what is hip hop, Mr. Ortiz?
Well, as you can see, the definition is right there on the bottom. Hip hop is a culture developed in the United States by inner city African American and Latinos in the Bronx borough of New York City in the 1970s. All right, I just want to point out that this particular neighborhood shared by Blacks and Latinos was going through some pretty rough times in the 70s, and hip hop pretty much came out as a way of expression to say what they were going to bring awareness to their city.
There you go. And as you know, the Bronx has been the birthplace of many MCs and many influential people in hip hop, which we are going to touch on with this presentation. So, Mr. Ortiz, you added this amazing video here.
Yeah.
Like to explain what it is. So
yeah, I just wanted to give everybody an audio of a visual. We just break down what hip hop was, but here we have some of the pioneers. Kool Herc makes an appearance, Nas makes an appearance, Sway makes an appearance, and they're basically just talking about what hip hop was at its very core, how it started, and that's pretty much it. It's a very short clip. Oh. And I'll just add some commentary after what we just saw.
All right, so here we go. People enjoy the birth of hip hop.
My name is DJ Kool Herc.
The music spun by Herc is different from the stuff most DJs are playing.
He would take two records and spin it back and forth in the same spot, so it just prolonged the break beat.
Herc's style catches on, and not just with B-boys, but with MCs who use the break to pick up the mic.
He talks now with the rhythm. He rhymes a little bit here and there. You see the development start. Now I kind of want you to give me a story. Yeah, the next thing you know, all of these people are actually rapping.
People went there to dance, and then it became something where people had to listen.
They were partying their pain away. They were speaking their pain away. They were using music to be an escape from the oppression that they were undergoing. And that's what hip-hop was born out of.
Hip-hop, the phoenix rising out of the city's ashes.
You would go into some very rough neighborhoods, but the energy was amazing. You felt something that you couldn't feel anywhere else. So this began to replicate itself and got bigger and bigger.
A musical revolution is brewing in these Bronx basements, and it's about to explode.
All right, so here is the foundation of hip hop. Just a little break into what is hip hop.
All right, so the foundation, birth of hip hop. It began, its technical birth date is August 11th, 1973. As you could see right here on the bottom left screen, we have a back to school party that Kool Herc threw on that date, and that is pretty much considered where hip hop began. You see pictures of here. Once it started out, once the sound and the core was out there, what people started doing was bringing the electronics to the parks and playing hip hop music there. Once the DJ set up, the MC would grab the microphone, start saying rhymes over the beat, while the Beat Boys breakdance, all right? It was a neighborhood, again, inhabited by African and Latino people, and they shared a similar struggle, poverty, racism, unemployment, and gangs.
All right, so you know how everyone walks around now with their Bluetooth players and everything like that? This is where it came from. You know, people walked around with boom boxes and people walked around with their tapes, and they want everybody to listen to their music the same way that now we walk around with our music blasted from our cars or from Bluetooth players. This is exactly what it is, and everything's kind of have gone like full circle a little bit. To piggyback on that, in terms of full circle, hip hop, when it first came into existence, it was a minority musical thing. You know, it was a select few of people who actually listened to it. And the reason why I included this slide in here for everyone is that Hamilton is one of the most successful and most popular plays right now, if ever, in Broadway history. It's international. It was written by a Latino. Its influence was hip hop. And Mr. Ortiz, if you want to go up on that, because you saw it.
Absolutely. I mean, for those who don't know me, this show meant so much to me because at the time I was thinking that it brought two of my favorite things together, right? Which is hip hop and history, but not really realizing that it also brought the aspect of being the fact that it was created by a Puerto Rican person, a Puerto Rican man. And for those that know me, know how proud I am to be Puerto Rican. So for this Puerto Rican gentleman to bring two of my favorite things together and it go off the way it did, this play was just amazing. And I mean, I paid a pretty penny to get into this show, but I don't regret it at all.
Unlike Mr. Ortiz, I was unable to get tickets to see the show, so I saw it on Disney Plus like everybody else did. And I just want to play really short, couple seconds, one of my favorite clips, because it's the whole battle scene of what MCing and hip hop is about. And like you said, he took history and then he took hip hop and then he added like this flavor to it where you want to learn history, but he also took a lot of the influence of hip hop within it, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, before we get started, Ms. Rosado, I just want to mention before what we're about to see, like Ms. Rosado said, is one of the core aspects of hip hop, which is battling. You have one MC on one side, another MC on another side, and they're pretty much going against each other to see who is better lyrically. And in that environment, they could make fun of each other, they could say whatever, insults, but at its core, it's supposed to be who is better lyrically. It's a battle.
Yo, and at the end of the day, if you won the battle and the other person won the battle, you shake it off and you leave, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? If your verses were not up to par, then you need to get better on your verse game, and you need to get better on your battle skills, and then you go and you call that person out again. There was nothing of, let's violently attack each other. Like, no, we're gonna verbally attack each other, and I'm gonna verbally assault you. And if I don't win, then I'm gonna come back next week and we'll do it again. And
it's just friendly competition at the school.
Exactly, friendly competition, different blocks, different neighborhoods. So here we have the cabinet battle, and this is between Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton. And again, Lin-Manuel Miranda got his inspiration from hip hop.
Ladies and gentlemen, you could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with us in New York City. Are you ready for a cabinet meeting? The issue on the table: Secretary Hamilton's plan to assume state debt and establish a national bank. Secretary Jefferson, you have the floor, sir. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We fought for these ideals, we shouldn't settle for less. These are wise words, enterprising men quote them. Don't act surprised, you guys, cause I wrote them. Ow, but Hamilton forgets. His plan would have the government assume state's debt. Now place your bets as to who that benefits. The very seat of government where Hamilton sits. Not true. Oh, if the shoe fits, wear it. If New York's in debt, why should Virginia bear it? Our debts are paid, I'm afraid. Don't tax the South, cause we got it made in the shade. In Virginia, we plant seeds in the ground. We create. You just want to move our money around. This financial plan is an outrageous demand, and it's too many damn pages for any man to understand. Stand with me in the land of the free. Pray to God we never see Hamilton's candidacy. Look, when Britain taxed our tea, we got frisky. Imagine what's gonna happen when you try to tax our whiskey. Thank you, Secretary Jefferson. Secretary Hamilton, your response. Thomas, that was a real nice declaration. Welcome to the present. We're running a real nation. Would you like to join us? Or stay mellow, doing whatever the hell it is you do in Monticello. If we assume the debts the union gets, a new line of credit, a financial diuretic, how do you not get it? If we're aggressive and competitive, the union gets a boost. You'd rather give it a sedative? A civics lesson from a slaver. Hey neighbor, your debts are paid because you don't pay for labor. We plant seeds in the South, we create, they keep ranting. We know who's really doing the planting. And another.
All right, so right there was our Lin-Manuel Miranda again, and he's battling. So I know I heard some beats in there that sound really similar, but that's pretty much what battling was. You know, you try to one-up each other, you try to embarrass each other, you try to crack on each other, and then you try to get the audience to be like, oh, and the ones that win, you won, and then after that, you move on. I just love that something that started from the Bronx in an area that was not looked upon is now revered, and everyone loves it, and it's now on hip hop. So it went from the Bronx to now Broadway.
And you got to think about it too. For as big as Hamilton got, you got to think about the time where hip hop pretty much, I don't think so much now, but there was a time where hip hop got a bad reputation. You know, being as though it came from the inner cities. It did include some cursing in it, I'm not gonna lie, but they chose to criticize it without really understanding what hip hop was. So to see that it came from that to now being on a national and global stage is a beautiful thing.
And so now that Mr. Ortiz mentioned that, and the bad rap and what a lot of people didn't know about hip hop. So a lot of people think just hip hop is just MCing. So you just have to be a rapper. But actually, hip hop has 4 pillars. It does have a foundation, and those 4 pillars are MCing, obviously, you know, rapping. That's the most popular one, what people know. Then there's DJing, you know, because rappers can't rap without music behind them. They need a DJ. Mm-hmm. Then you have the break dancers. So they're the ones that actually get everybody hyped up while the party's going on. They're dancing. They get everybody, you know, onto the dance floor. And then last but not least, we have the graffiti and the artists, because hip hop is also artistic. It's an artistic representation, but it's not just artistic in terms of rapping and poetry, because that's kind of what rap is, but it's also art that people can see out there. So those are the 4 pillars of hip hop.
I was just thinking about something the other day, Ms. Rosado. Like, say hip hop were to appear current day, or could come something similar be created current day. We have students that I know would fill each one of these categories.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I see them all the time at Ferris.
We have the students that are good with the words. We have students that are good with the technology. We have the dancers, and we have the artists. So if something like hip-hop was created today, I'm sure all of our students would fall in line with each one of these categories.
Yeah, and then this is also going to go into the question of when we fell in love with hip hop. Because like you just said that our kids could possibly represent each and one of all of these or all of these at one time. Yeah. So Mr. Ortiz, when did you fall in love with hip hop? And keep it short because Mr. Ortiz could go on for days, guys.
Listen, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart, so I could go into it for days, but I'll try to keep it short. Hip hop for me started in 1997, all right? I have two older cousins that I pretty much idolize to this day. And they were the older cousins. I was a young buck in 97. And I wanted to do everything they wanted to do. So with that being said, I was listening to hip hop just like they were. Now, if you think about it, 1997, Brooklyn, who was top dog at that time? Big. All right, so pretty much all the rappers that I chose to listen to after that time, they all pretty much fell in love with for me, out of these four pillars, emceeing is definitely my favorite part, all right? And that's because the person that introduced me to hip-hop was such a lyrical monster, you know? Biggie is considered one of the best, all right? So that's when I fell in love with hip-hop.
So I'm going to go, I'm actually, Mr. Ortiz is quite younger than me. So in 97, I actually was of age where I could actually appreciate it, but that's not when I fell in love with hip-hop. I moved to the U.S. when I was 5 years old, so English wasn't even my first language. I learned how to speak English, thankfully because my mom was born here, but I learned from music. So I had my little tapes, my little Walkman, aging myself here. But the first time that I actually fell in love with hip-hop was actually R&B, because R&B and hip-hop in the early 90s were intertwined together. So I love Mary J. Blige, and she had the song Real Love. And the remix had Biggie on it. So we're going to go back to Biggie. You fell in love with Biggie. And the first time I heard Biggie was on her remix. And I'm like, wow, who is this guy? And at that time, there was that whole East Coast, West Coast thing. So being as though Biggie was representing East Coast, being as though I am from the East Coast, I was big on Biggie, Mary, Jodeci, the whole Bad Boy family, Nas, Jay-Z. So I was turning already like 10, 11, 12, 13. That's my adolescence. I was growing up with them. So that is when I fell in love with hip hop. I will have to say the DJing and maybe the breakdancing was more for me because I love to dance. Gotcha. And I used to be the one that like, oh, go dance, you know, at the parties. And I had older cousins too. And so they were there when hip hop was born. And I was there when hip hop was getting to its prime. So breakdancing and maybe DJing is kind of when I fell in love with hip hop. And again, Biggie is our common denominator right there.
There you go, the lyrical lyricist.
Yes. So for people who don't know who Biggie is, I know that you kids listen to Juicy a lot. That's Biggie. That's his song, okay? So that's who Biggie is, Notorious.
Do your homework, kids.
Yes, so that's who Biggie is. So this is Mr. Ortiz's thing. This is where he's very dear and near to his heart. He's into the whole MCs. So Mr. Ortiz is going to take reins on this one, this little presentation real quick. So who we got here, Mr. Ortiz?
Just to piggyback on what Ms. Rosado said, MCing is my favorite of all time out of the four categories of hip-hop. There's just something about bringing words together, sending a message, telling through stories through rhyme that I just fell in love with. So I pretty much thought that this was a prime example of Latino hip-hop today. His name is Joel Ortiz, no relation, even though I wish we were cousins or something. But the name of the song is called Hip Hop. Joel Ortiz, this came out in 2007. He's from Brooklyn, New York, and his background is Puerto Rican. So without further ado, Ms. Rosado.
Yo, do me a favor. What? Accidentally step on your white sunglasses. We don't wear those over here. This is hip-hop. That's right. This is Carhartt jackets, Timberland boots unlaced. This is Champion hoodies, chicken wings and french fries. R.I.P. pieces on the handball court. This is us still fighting police brutality. This is hip-hop. I ain't trying to bring New York back. I'm just a breath of fresh air. That good old New York rap. Slick talk to the track. Come on, who brought that to the game? Graffiti all on the train. Get up your name. I don't feel how I used to feel. I'm in my 20s, so a new Nas joint used to give me the chill. In the barbershop trying to cop a new hot tape. The Rob Lowe's was crazy, the doo-wop's great, it's hip-hop. And
Yes, I'm a fan first. If you from the South, finger snap to your hands hurt. If you from the West, W's in the air. If you from the East Coast, act like you from here. The good old two-step, the classic head nod, the thirsty ice grill. Who wants to get raw? That was the energy in the club. On the real, that was the energy that I love.
All right, so we're starting off with Big Pun. In my opinion, the best Latino MC of all time. If you have not heard this man's work, you really need to do your homework, all right? He's from the Bronx, New York, repped it since day one, all right? Also repped it from day one is him being Puerto Rican. You see him with the flag. Just some credentials, he's the first Latino rapper to go platinum. And he's also Grammy nominated in 1999, which if you think, I don't know, Miss Rosado, do you remember that summer of 1999 where—
Yes, I do.
Yes, Joe, Big Pun and the whole Terror Squad were running things?
I was a very big fan of Terror Squad and Big Pun because they were a group. You know, every group had Bad Boy had their group. Who else had their group? Death Row had their group. Rockefeller. So everyone had a group. You know, so now it was like Terror Squad was there. We had Cuban Link, Triple Six, Fat Joe, Tony Sunshine. You know, everyone had their own thing on there, and Big Pun was the leader of it. And I just remember the first time that I heard him on the radio, because I listened to Hot 97 after school, and Angie Martinez played Don't Want to Be a Player No More, and that part when he's like, the end, Boricua, Morena, like I was so spooked because I never heard something like that before, especially now you repping about, you know, Boricua, like Puerto Ricans, like wow, and it's a Puerto Rican who's rapping. So that was like amazing.
I have a quick anecdote about that. So my father was one of the ones that kind of played into hip-hop, catching a bad rep. He hated when I listened to rap back in the day. But for whatever reason, he found out Big Pun was Puerto Rican. He was the one rapper that my father was okay with me listening to.
Funny fact about that, my mother, who is like totally not like, she's very, conservative. She actually promoted hip-hop. She actually really liked that I liked hip-hop. She liked that they used songs from older days because they took samples.
That's what I'm saying. You do know that 100% sampled Hector Lavoe, right?
Yeah, my mom liked Biggie. My mom really loved Biggie. She loved Biggie. She loved Bad Boy. She even liked Lil' Kim. Even though I shouldn't have been listening to that. But yeah. my mom, she really actually she liked it, and you know it was something that you know I liked, and it wasn't interfering with anything that I was doing. So you know what can she say and do about it? So thank you, Mom, for letting me listen.
Understanding, yeah. I wish I had an understanding parent. I had to listen to hip hop on the low.
So as we were talking about Terror Squad, Big Pun was the leader, but his co-captain on the sidelines was Fat Joe.
Fat Joe is credited as discovering Big Pun because Fat Joe was already established in the game. He had hits like Flow Joe, so his name was already out there. And from it's quite ironic that you have Fat Joe here in front of Bodega because as the story is told, he came out of the Bodega and heard Big Pun rapping right in front, and that's where he pretty much discovered him. He's from the Bronx, New York, just like Pun, Puerto Rican and Cuban. A lot of people don't realize that Joe is Cuban as well. And to this day, he is one of the most recognizable Latinos rappers in the industry.
Yeah, Fat Joe really goes hard for letting people know Latinos are in hip hop. Like he is an advocate for Latinos in hip hop hard. And you know, after Pun passed away, because I don't know if a lot of people know Pun did pass away. Fat Joe kept his legacy going, and Fat Joe still raps now. Fat Joe has been in many hits, you know, Lean Back, All the Way Up. Like he continues to still make relevant music and good music. He even sampled Hector Lavoe too, with Cardi B and Anuel. Fat Joe is still relevant in the game right now.
Joe's still doing his thing. Also, for those who don't know, is he doing like a little podcast show now?
Yes, he also does a little podcast show with other hip hop heads where he talks and stuff.
Jopra.
Yes.
All right, moving on. So we have Pun and Joe repping the East Coast. Whenever you talk East Coast Latino hip hop, Joe's always on the conversation. However, you go to the other side of the country, this group on the right is bound to pop up. For those that don't know, this group is called Cypress Hill. They're from Los Angeles, California. All right. It's a group of mostly Latino gentlemen, except for one of them, Mexican and Cuban background. And I don't know if you know Miss Rosado, but they just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That I did not know. So, I mean, good for them because, again, everyone always credits the East Coast and then they kind of forget the West Coast too. But again, it just depends on when you grew up. Again, I grew up in that whole East Coast, West Coast, beef. So I always kind of leaned more towards the East Coast. Now that I'm growing up, now that I grew up, I listen, I do appreciate them now as well. So here we go, because this is a controversial one, and we're going to talk about him later.
All right. Should I go first? You want to go first on this one?
Go ahead with Nori, man.
All right. So me and Rosado have this debate if Nori should be on this list of Latino rappers. I believe he should. All right. He came out way back in the day, and at first he was strictly hip-hop New York sounding. It wasn't until a little later that he embraced his Latino roots to the main culture, which is what Rosado has a problem with. But in my opinion, he really puts on for his people. I mean, even I keep up with his podcast, watch his interviews. I sent you a clip yesterday.
Yes,
I sent you a clip yesterday. He just put some on IG asking the question, are Latinos guests in hip hop? And ultimately the question is no. The answer is no. We've been here since the very beginning and we never went anywhere. So for me, Nori, Queens, New York, half Puerto Rican. He's from the group Capone and Noriega. In the 2000s, he brought kind of a reggaeton, hip-hop, mainstream sound, and he is currently the leader of the Drink Champs podcast. So if you would like to air your grievances on Nori, Ms. Rosado.
I am a huge fan of Nori and Capone. I never said I didn't like Nori. I love Nori. Like, Super Thug, hello, I grew up with Nori. I just feel as though he should be on this list. In terms of he's 110% Latino, I just don't feel that. He's not like Pun and Joe to me. When he first came out, you didn't hear him ever utter the words that he was Puerto Rican. That was never uttered. And then I just feel like when reggaeton kind of was blowing up, he threw himself in a remix. And then now all of a sudden, he's Puerto Rican. But that is my personal grievances. I never not like Nori. I like Nori, all right? I just feel like that's my interpretation of Nori.
Got you.
Yes.
Moving on, we got Pitbull on the bottom. All right, Pitbull is, I know he's another one that, in my opinion, doesn't get the credit that he deserves. From Miami, Florida, came out way back in the day with Uncle Luke. He did songs with Lil Jon in them. He's from a Cuban background, rapper, singer, songwriter, brand ambassador, and philanthropist. So the man is a really all-around hustler. And the sound that he's known for is Latin hip-hop, crunk music, and the mainstream, which he's known for in more recent years.
I liked Pitbull before he became mainstream. A lot of people think now, Pitbull is super mainstream and he makes club music. But like you said, people don't know his background. And when he first came out, he was pure hip-hop crunk.
Straight up.
That Miami sound. So if you ever want to look up Pitbull's old stuff, I think you should. And give him some little credit on.
You remember Pitbull with the braids to the back?
Yes, I do remember.
Yeah, that was good. That was hip hop.
He was super hip hop crunk. He was that time period, the early 2000s. That's what was riding at the time. So I mean, now he's bald. He has a beard. He was performing in Jersey City. He's obviously gonna play his hits, but don't forget his underground, his early days and stuff.
What's he known? He's Mr. Worldwide now. He's really successful, this guy.
Yeah, can't knock it.
No, not at all. Moving on, we got Immortal Technique from Harlem, New York. He is Peruvian, and he is probably not even one of the most Latino socially conscious rappers. He's one of the most socially conscious rappers ever. I mean, he talks about controversial issues here and abroad in South America, and the first time I heard him, Dance with the Devil, it blew my mind.
A long song, man.
Yeah.
It's like a movie within a song.
Yeah, you could tell. That's the thing. It's like I said, the one thing I look for in MCs is their ability to tell the story through rhyme, and Immortal Technique is definitely one of the best.
Well, you need to have patience to listen to Immortal Technique because it's long and you got to listen to it in different parts. But it's great. It's great, and you're your mind is definitely blown with him. So now we're gonna go on to DJ. Tony Touch.
Tony Falca.
So I I just play a little sample. That was Tony Touch's version of that song. So this is kind of like, now I'm gonna piggyback. Ortiz's thing was MCs. My thing is the DJs. So I just put up a nice little picture collage of DJs, predominantly DJs, because a lot of people think, oh well, there's not a lot of Latino rappers, but we do have a lot of Latino DJs, and DJing is just as important to hip hop as rapping is, because you can't rap without having your DJ in the back. So I'm gonna start off with Cypher Sounds. I'm starting off with him because he is actually really important. He was one of the first DJs, and he was a DJ at Hot 97. He was one of the first DJs to ever play a Rihanna song. So he played Pon the Replay, and he got it, and he hyped her up, and he actually went on tour with her when she was touring clubs. So he's actually very influential in Rihanna's career, because he's also part of Rock Nation. So a lot of people credit it, and Rihanna has said many times in her interviews that if it wasn't for Cypher Sounds playing Pon the Replay on Hot 97 and promoting it and playing it in the clubs, it wouldn't have gained the popularity that it did. And then him going on tour with her to the clubs and being her DJ was actually really inspirational, and it also helped her move on with her career because he was connected to Jay-Z and Rock Nation. So Cypher Sounds is really important. He's also a comedian. He's also been at Hot 97 for a really long time. Not only did he kind of discover Rihanna, but he also discovered these young ladies over here, Nina Sky, who are also influential to hip hop. They started off as singers, and they were in a lot of hip hop songs, but now they're DJs in their own right. So those are really important to music right now. Without Cypher Sounds, we might not have Rihanna, and I love Rihanna. I love Rihanna, and I need her to come out with a new album. But he's very important. We have Tony Touch over here. That was his song that was playing. He is also very influential because he was the DJ for a lot of the breakdancers back in the day. He also DJs, and he's very proud to be Puerto Rican. He also DJs freestyle music. Not only hip hop, he does Latin music, and he is just one of the godfathers of hip hop in terms of DJs. Then we have your guy over here, Mr. Ortiz.
Yeah, let me just talk about, all right, so for those who might not know, Hot 97 and Power 105 weren't always around, all right? And these two gentlemen on the top left corner here, they're called Stretch and Bobito. And what they did was they hosted pretty much like a very late night radio show where so many artists got their break. I mean, and it took place early to mid 90s. So if you think about the hip hop artists that were doing their thing during that time, chances are they got an appearance on the Stretch and Bobito show. So Bobito, 100% Puerto Rican, reps it hard. And bottom right corner, we have DJ Charlie Chase. DJ Charlie Chase came from the very beginning, and he was known for taking authentic Spanish songs and mixing it into a hip hop sound.
And next we got the heavy hitters. Speaking of Hot 97, heavy hitters are huge, and they were founded by DJ Enough, that's over on the right. And it is just a group of DJs, predominantly African American and Latino. DJ Enough is also the DJ, one of the DJs at Hot 97. He's been there for years. He started that. Huh?
Biggie's tour DJ, you know that?
Yeah, exactly. So he goes way back to the whole thing with Biggie. He was the DJ. So again, it's not just about MCing. You also need the guys in the background or the females in the background. So DJ Enough is in hip hop lore for, being the DJ to many of the 90s rappers. And then we got my favorite, DJ Camilo.
Please explain this infatuation.
Okay, so it's not an infatuation. DJ Camilo is of Colombian descent. He's also a DJ at Hot 97. He was Angie Martinez's DJ when she was at Hot 97. We'll get to Angie Martinez later on. But he also is huge on social media, and he does occasional videos of him, his wife, and his children, and he kind of just brings that whole family wholesomeness to hip hop and DJing because, I feel like you said, hip hop gets such a bad rap, and he's such a family man. Like he does, you know, little family. He goes pumpkin picking, and he has a dog. Like he does all those little cute family things, and he puts it up on social media. So if you don't follow DJ Camilo, follow him. But not only is
you actually got me to follow him.
Yes, please. Not only is he is a family man, but he's also a great DJ though. Like if you want a premier Latino and hip hop party, you will go to one of DJ Camilo's parties. He DJs all around the East Coast. He was in Rhode Island a few days ago, and he's the one that does what's it called, the rush hour. So rush hour is very important. You know, you're stuck in traffic coming home from work. You're listening to DJ Camilo and the Heavy Hitters. His wife is the voice of Heavy Hitters. So whenever you hear her voice, you know, the Heavy Hitters, that is his wife. So he is also very influential. DJ Camilo worked with 50 Cent because he's from Queens. So he was also 50 Cent G Unit's DJ for a while himself. So this is why I love DJ Camilo. But Mr. Ortiz likes to make fun of me and say I have infatuation. I do not.
I mean, yeah, there must be some. Those videos are very entertaining.
Yes, they are very entertaining. So that is our thing with DJs, and now from DJs we're gonna go to breakdancing, because you got the MCs rapping, you got the DJs playing the music. Now you need the people actually dancing and, you know, performing and getting everybody hyped up.
Yeah.
So I wanted to play this little video here.
I think in terms of the influence of Puerto Rican and b-boy, it's just the flavor that we bring into dancing. Like a lot of the moves in b-boy, you'll see them back in the days of mambo and salsa and all these Latin rhythms, and they are being incorporated into hip hop music. When we're talking about Crazy Legs and all these folks, Rocksteady crew, he's always been a fixture in hip hop. And Legs in particular is the most recognizable face in b-boy.
Caribbean Latinos are a part of the diaspora, you know, like the only real difference, you know, between us is that we got dropped off from boats on different places, you know what I mean? But we all came over on slave ships, essentially.
So that video goes into b-boying and breakdancing. A lot of the break dancers, and don't quote me on this, but at least 80% of the break dancers were Latino.
Yep.
Like that was our thing. And if you see in that video, they explain why, you know, a lot of especially Puerto Ricans, because Puerto Ricans were at that time the ones that lived in the Bronx. Okay, so it wasn't like there weren't other Latinos, but predominantly that era they were the ones that were there. But it goes into, you know, our music, you know, mambo, salsa, and like how a lot of those rhythms went into b-boying. So a lot of that piggybacked into hip hop. So you can't have hip hop without breakdancers. That's just essential. That's just its main. You can't talk about it without not talking about breakdancers.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Ms. Rosado was saying. So I love what he said in the video, how it's a connection to our people because we had the salsa, we had the merengue, we had the bachata. Our people are known for dancing, so it's only right that with this new sound, we would take our dancing move and incorporate it in hip hop as well.
Yes. And a lot of people, I'm going to show Crazy Legs right here. He's one of the most famous breakdancers ever. So I will let everyone else enjoy this video on their own time to see how it goes. It's a 12-minute video. It's long. But breakdancing was just like rapping, a rap battle. So that's what you did with breakdancing. All right, you battled each other, and you can see it was a huge affair. Everyone got introduced. Crazy Legs is one of the most famous breakdancers. He's probably one of the most mainstream ones. He's part of the Rocksteady crew. He's also a resident now in Jersey City. I have seen Crazy Legs many times walking
I didn't
around
know that.
downtown. So
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
he lives downtown now. He's actually been to a lot of the Puerto Rican parades in Jersey City.
Nice.
So yeah, Crazy Legs now is a resident of downtown. He's also now an activist, and as you can see, he is Puerto Rican and proud. This man is super Puerto Rican and proud, and he is one of the number ones in terms of breakdancing and battling. And he was in a lot of movies in the 80s, and he was the one that made breakdancing mainstream. So when you guys have a chance, watch this video of him battling Storm. And Storm is another legend in breakdancing as well. So they actually got two legends to breakdance. Take into account these men are like now in their 50s, okay? So they're not like breakdancing like they were back in the day. You know, they don't want to break her hip or nothing like that. But Crazy Legs is one of the most influential breakdancers ever. And here are some pictures of the Rocksteady crew. So as you can see, as I was saying before, predominantly all of the breakdancers were Latino. And you can see from these photos that they were. And they didn't exclude, like, it wasn't just a male dominated like thing. It was females were also involved in breakdancing. It wasn't like emceeing, where emceeing it's very male dominated. This females and males could partake in this part of hip hop in terms of the breakdancing and the dancing. And this is Crazy Legs now. He's still doing his thing, still in his age, still an activist. Anything that you would like to say about this, Mr. Ortiz, or would you like to move on to the next?
Oh, we can move on to the next. I think you pretty much said everything we needed to say.
Beautiful. So now we're gonna go into this is now Mr. Ortiz's thing. Graffiti and art. I do love graffiti and art. This is probably the part of hip hop that gets the most bad rap. Because a lot of people think it's, vandalism, and you're messing up things, but there's beauty in graffiti and art.
Absolutely.
So
it's worldwide at this point.
Oh yeah, I've been to different parts of the world where it looks like 1980s New York now. I mean, Italy, Rome, London, Paris, they all follow this graffiti thing.
So what we have here, it started off on the subway car. The big thing back in the day is if you tag the subway car, if you think about it, the subway cars go all around the city. So it's pretty much just making your name known all around the city. And that's how it started out. As you can see, they come up with a whole bunch of funky lettering and different colors. And I don't know, and to me, it was always art. It's a thing of beauty, for real. And one of the pioneers of graffiti at its core is this man called Lee Quiñones, and he has this amazing quote: "Graffiti is an art, and if art is a crime, please God forgive me." And that just goes to show how much passion he had for what he did.
And if you guys want to see the video, again, you can see the video. You press play, and it shows the cars going by, right, of graffiti.
Yeah.
So a lot of you who are watching this video either are teachers or students. So the teachers who are our age probably remember these subway cars and growing up with these subway cars and seeing them like this. Now you don't see that anymore. But this, again, I didn't see it as vandalism either. I saw it.
Well, here's the thing: if you think about graffiti, we got to go back to hip hop at its whole. In the beginning, it got a bad rep, and then it became more mainstream. So now the graffiti has been accepted more mainstream. So these artists that practice graffiti now could go on a canvas or join different classes. They don't necessarily have to resort to preying on public territories and things like that.
And actually, there is a graffiti museum. I forgot where in New York it is, but there is a graffiti museum, and I do believe that they have some of the subway cars in there, the old school subway cars in there. So if you guys are ever interested in checking out, this has now become art, and now you have to pay to see the subway car, when before we could have just seen them just, rolling on by. So that was graffiti. Mr. Ortiz has some more about Lee Quiñones.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you can't mention graffiti in hip hop without mentioning this man right here. And I just love that he's Puerto Rican. Another one that reps his heritage to the core. Born in Ponce. I don't know if you knew that, Ms. Rosado.
No, I did not.
Raised in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, which back in the day, not so much now because gentrification, but back in the day, Lower East Side was predominantly Puerto Rican. It's where my mother is from originally, actually. He began tagging in 1976, which was primetime graffiti years. He was 14 years old at the time, and he wasn't the only one at that age that were really doing their thing on the streets. You know, he was just one of a whole bunch of artistic youth that were out there really making their work known. And we just have on the previous screen shows his work on the subway cars back in the day, and on this slide right here, you could see two of his more modern works. All right.
Okay. I know that a lot of our students are into this. I see them tag up their notebooks sometimes, and a lot of our students actually take art, and they take art classes for this now. So this is, I think, where a lot of our students will fit in here, and like in the dancing.
We have some really, I guarantee some of our kids would love this stuff.
Yeah, this is like that right there, that Lee with the Donald Duck, or it looks amazing. Like, I love this stuff. I wish I could just have it all the walls in my room, and it would look great. But again, this is the part of hip hop that did, I think, get a bad rap in the beginning. So from there, I'm gonna go into Mr. Cartoon, because where Lee Quinones was influential in the East Coast, Mr. Cartoon was influential in the West Coast. He has his own documentary now on Netflix. I believe it's called The LA Kings of Hollywood. I forgot what it's called, but it's on Netflix, and it focuses on him. And Mr. Cartoon is also a graffiti artist, but he's also a tattoo artist. He's also a producer, because he did a lot of videos. So he was Eminem's tattoo artist, right? And he was 50 Cent's. He was everyone's tattoo artist.
He was tattooing everybody, this guy.
You can't get a tattoo unless you have thousands of dollars, though. Like, I couldn't walk in there and be like, hey, Mr. Cartoon, can you tap me up? Like, there was a huge waiting list. There's also, I don't have the money, and I can't afford him to do a tattoo. There's a pic of him tattooing Eminem. I'm not sure if he's the one that did the famous Haley.
He might have. No, I think he got that before.
I'm not sure if he did that, but I know he did like pretty much two of Eminem's sleeves. Because Eminem, when he first came out, didn't have those tattoos, and Mr. Cartoon did that. He also did 50 Cent's back.
Yes, that's a famous tattoo.
Yeah, that huge back tattoo of his. He's done Snoop. He's done Snoop. He's done Nipsey. He's done who else has he done? Dr. Dre, Method Man. Like, he's done a lot of people's tattoos. Another big thing is that he also has his own line with Nike of Nike Cortez sneakers.
Yeah, which is a classic West Coast hip hop shoe.
Yes, you can't be on West Coast and hip hop without having a pair of those Nike Cortezes. At least
the Cortezes are up there with the Air Force.
I was just those are like Tim's. Hoop earrings for girls, Nike Cortezes, and Air Force Ones. That's like the common staple of the uniform, pretty much.
Superstars in the 80s too.
Oh yeah, we could throw that in there too. And we do Adidas. Did we mention those? The Shelter.
Yeah, Adidas Superstars, the Shelter.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So Mr. Cartoon, I threw him in there as well, because again, I wanted to get the West Coast representation of him. And if you ever have time, he does have a documentary on Netflix that goes deep.
Mexican background, correct?
Yes, he is. He's actually half Mexican, half white. I think Italian.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's half Italian and half Mexican, and he was Cypress Hill's tattoo artist. So he actually went on tour with Cypress Hill for a time. So he's huge. He also produced a lot of videos. So a lot of videos that have that West Coast feel were done in his studio.
Very talented artist.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go into something that's near and dear to my heart, Latinas in hip hop, because as I stated before, a lot of hip hop is very male dominated, but there are some Latinas that have gone into it and have actually made the game bit better, in my opinion. One of the main ones, and this one is my personal favorite, and Ms. Ortiz, you have to agree, she's an icon.
She's an icon, an absolute icon.
She's an icon, and like immortalized. She needs to be retired Hall of Fame one day in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
When did she start with Hot 97? Do you know?
So she has her own book, and she started at Hot 97, and I have a video that's gonna play where she explains how she came up into the game. But she didn't like go up into the game to actually be, a radio personality to talk. She started off, being an assistant, carrying cases and doing little things. And she made her way up into the game. And she was around. She interviewed Pac. She interviewed Biggie. you know, there's no way that
Big Pun, all of them.
All of them. There's no way that you are going to make it into hip hop in New York without going through Angie.
Yeah, that was like she's like a seal of approval.
Yeah, you know, Angie had her radio show at 3 p.m. Like I listened to her religiously after school every day. And whatever song you wanted to hear, like, yo, this is the hot song. You heard it in Angie's show. That's where you heard it. And it was like the top 5 at 4 was Angie.
You ain't nothing without an Angie Martinez.
Absolutely not. And she is the voice of New York. She is the voice of New York. She's the voice of hip hop, if you want to think about it. And the fact that she's a Latina in a male-dominated genre is just amazing. And she's still relevant. She's still
not only that, there's dudes in the game that look up to her.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And people like Charlamagne, they give it up to her crazy.
Of course, yeah, because, you know, it's just something about her. Like, she's just relatable. She's just, you know, even if I've seen her a couple times. I saw her at a parade one time. I saw her at Great Adventure one time. And she's very, like, for the fans. She's not like, you know, she's very humble too. You know, be like, oh my God, Angie. And then, you know, she sits and she'll talk to you. And she's very humble. And I got to give it up to Angie. Like, Angie's an icon. And I'm very proud to say that I grew up listening to Angie Martinez, that I was able to live through those big times in her career.
She's getting her credit for sure.
Oh, yeah. So here's where she talks a little bit about herself. It's a very short video.
I remember Ja Rule had a song called New York. We did a promo, like a version of it, like you're listening to the voice of New York. We just said it like one time in the promo, and I don't know, it just stuck after that. People just started using it in their drops anytime anybody did a drop for me, and then people would start calling me that. It was kind of strange. It just happened organically. But I like it.
New York is none other.
Oh, Ben.
I was the girl that would tape Red Alert, record his mixes, and then I would listen to them all week. I would learn all the words to all the hip-hop songs, everything. If it came out, I had to have it right away. It was my own thing that I found that it belonged to me. It was like my relationship with the music. And it was real, and it still is. I started Hot 97 when I was 18. I answered the phones. I drove the vans. I got coffee. I learned how to run all the boards. So literally I was working in the office and running the boards overnight. I lived here pretty much. And because I knew how to run the boards, I used to do that for Flex. And then Flex would be on the radio DJing, and I'd be pressing his buttons, and he'd start talking to me. And then that gave me a chance to be on the radio a little bit. I don't know. At some point, they would just they let me do some fill-ins, and I kind of just developed from there. And I've been here ever since. So I literally grew up in this place. My biggest idol is my mom, right? She's single mother, raised me by herself. Also, as she started to raise me, she started her own career. But she had a similar kind of path as me, and then wound up being in radio. It's a tough thing. Anybody who's a single mom and starting a career at the same time, you know what that is. And then, you know, Flex was great for me, especially early in my career when I was just starting. I learned a lot from him. And then I'm also inspired by women like Queen Latifah and Jennifer Lopez, who take what they do and then branch out into other things. What does my hometown mean to me? I never feel connected to a place like I do when I'm home. I've lived in this city. I grew up here. I was born here. But I've also lived in every borough. I lived in Queens, Manhattan. I've lived in the Bronx. I've lived in Brooklyn. This city raised me. So it's everything. I have a very unique heritage. I'm Latin, across the board Latin. My father is Puerto Rican, 100%. My mother is half Puerto Rican, and then the other half is Cuban and Dominican. I like it. It kind of works for me. I get a little piece of everything, of every culture, and it's all Latin. What do I bring to hip hop? I think because I've been in the game for so long, and because I've really just started as a fan of it, I think I have a lot of knowledge about it. I've seen so many reincarnations of it that I can give a perspective that's a little more objective. And I genuinely care about people. I have these genuine moments with people in the street, and they're not groupie or fanish. It's more of a real kind of personal connection. That means everything to me. It's important to me that people trust me. I never want to say anything that's not true. I would never get on the radio and say something that I don't really believe, because I would never want to jeopardize that relationship.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's Angie Martinez right there. That's Angie for you right there. She said everything in those 90 seconds that's who she is. that's Angie. And this is you know, pictures of her iconic interview that she had with Pac. Wasn't this like a couple months before he died? I'm not 100% sure. I know I read the book.
It was towards the end for sure. Yeah, it was towards the end.
And it was crazy is that if you see Pac throwing up the West Side, and then you see her with Big on the other picture.
That's an amazing chapter in the book when she addresses all that.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, she's from the East Coast, she's friends with Big, and then she goes to the West Coast and she interviews Pac at like a very tense time in hip hop. And like, you're just glued to the radio because you want to hear what's going on. That's just that era in hip hop and in radio is just like, so like, yeah, I know we have podcasts now, but like, you actually had to be listening at 3 o'clock.
It was special. And the whole world was listening at the same time.
Yeah, everyone had to listen to that. Yo, you wanted to hear Nas drop Ether, you had to listen at 3 o'clock because Angie had the exclusive. So
I was looking for Takeover.
Yes, I know. This is another whole other chapter, but this is why Angie Martinez is very, very important to my life. You know, it, like she says, you know, you just continue to love hip hop, and it gets reincarnated, and then I fell in love with it in the early stages, and I just kept falling in love with it more and more as I listened to her and to, you know, what she brought to the game. So Angie's very influential to me.
Let me ask you a question, Ms. Rosado. What did you think about her musical career?
And she wasn't the best rapper, but you know, she got a couple bangers in there.
She looks at that time with horror.
Oh yeah, you know, I mean, it wasn't the best. She wasn't the best rapper, but you know what? She gave it her all. She actually had, you know, icons featured on her CDs, you know.
Yeah, straight up. But that's a testament to the love that Angie gets. Her first attempt at music, and she has Lil' Kim, she has Mary Missy, The Brat, you know.
Yeah, you know, she's got a whole bunch, and then Jay does a couple verses on her songs, Puns on her album, Wyclef's on her album. You know, it was alright.
Angie gets love.
Oh, Angie gets tons of love. I'm sorry. There will be no slander of Angie at all. If you're interested in reading her book, she does have a great book, and it's, you know, she has the forward. I think Jay-Z wrote the forward for her, right?
Yeah, he did.
Some good stuff for her. So that's Angie. Angie was very inspirational to these women because now we have Laura Stiles, who's also on Hot 97, and she's in the morning show. And she's of Guatemalan descent. So, you know, that's not everybody who's in hip hop is of like a certain ethnicity or a certain group, you know, it's broad. And then we have Lisa Velez over here, and she's in Miami, and she also does hip hop as well. So she's been very influential. Nina Sky's back on this. So Nina Sky is eclectic. They're DJs, they're radio personalities, because they now also have their own radio station on Apple Music. So Nina Sky has come a long way as well. And they're also performers. So Angie Martinez has been very influential to these ladies.
Yeah, she pretty much paved the way for all of them.
Oh, yeah. But again, she's an icon. So this was a funny one because we do have some Latina MCs out right now at the moment. The number one and most popular one at the moment is Cardi B. You can't talk about Latinas in hip hop without mentioning Cardi B. Cardi B has, you know, become another one from the Bronx, Dominican descent. She was on Love and Hip Hop. That's how you know, people know her. She blew up. She made it mainstream, and now she's pop. She also reps the fact that she is a Latina. She also made, you know, Latin trap music a little mainstream as well, with her features with Bad Bunny and J Balvin. You know, she does have one of the number one songs right now out.
For real.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. So, you know, you can't mention that without Cardi B. We have Young M.A., who a lot of people don't know. She's half Puerto Rican. She's never not said she's not Puerto Rican, though.
I didn't know that, to be honest.
Yeah, she has never not said. I have been to a lot of the reggaeton concerts, and she has made appearances there. And she does have a couple songs with some reggaeton artists. So she's never not claimed that she's not Puerto Rican. She is like fourth generation, so she doesn't really speak Spanish, but she is half Puerto Rican.
I'll tell you what, she got bars.
Oh, yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. And then we have Snow the Product, who's from the West Coast. She's a Mexican-American rapper, and she sings in both English and in Spanish. And her bars are pretty solid, too. She's in the Hamilton mixtape. She has a couple of YouTube songs and a channel. and she dropped a couple songs during quarantine, and I think she's one that you need to watch out for at the moment. Ivy Queen, who is huge, another icon in the reggaeton scene. Just like hip hop, reggaeton is also mainly male dominated. So she came in, she paved the way for a lot of Latinas in reggaeton, which one of them is Karol G. Karol G does not only she not only does reggaeton, but she sings and she also raps in English, and she has a couple of collaborations with a lot of reggae artists and hip hop artists on her album. So she's not just Spanish. And last but not least, Amara La Negra. She was also part of Love and Hip Hop Miami. She's also a rapper and a singer, and she's also a social activist. She's bringing a lot of awareness to the Afro-Latina movement. So, you know, we're still around. We got bars, and we got women now who are also in the game. As hip hop evolves, you know, the MCs have to evolve as well with it, and the artists have to evolve as well. So next we got, and this is Mr. Ortiz's.
Yeah, I just want to talk about hip hop's connection to reggaeton and Latin trap. So at the very beginning, we talked about how Latinos kind of took part in the creation of hip hop. And it will come first full circle years later when hip hop as a whole contributed or influenced the culture or a sound called reggaeton. And we have reggaeton and Latin trap, and we have some of the premier reggaeton and Latin trap artists right here. We have Daddy Yankee, we have Bad Bunny, Don Omar, Anuel, Nicky Jam. And I just want to say these guys have done mainstream collaborations with hip hop back in the day. When in listening to their songs, you could definitely hear how they were influenced through hip hop. And I just thought it was great to mention how Latinos contributed to hip hop, which in turn contributed to reggaeton, mainly Spanish genre.
Man, I am a fan of all of these. And as you stated, they have all collaborated with hip hop artists, some way, somehow. They have all collaborated. I know Don Omar made a song with Future. Nicky Jam's made some songs with some rappers. Daddy Yankee has definitely been in some songs. Anuel's in a Meek Mill song, you know, with Fab. Bad Bunny, Drake. You know, so they're all, you know, everyone influences everyone. You know,
do you remember that Tego remix of Lean Back in the day?
Yes, I do remember. That was the best. He made the song better. That intro to that Lean Back, I think he made it better.
I mean, I just want to point out something. We were just talking about the influence that hip hop had on these individuals, and if you look at Anuel's shirt, he's repping one of the most hip hop labels ever, one of the most famous hip hop labels ever, Death Row, which Tupac, Snoop, and them were signed to.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that connection really quick.
And we're going to finish it up with, first of all, I just want to say that me and Mr. Ortiz are huge Bad Bunny fans. I was actually waiting online on 4 devices trying to get his Crocs. I unfortunately did not get the Crocs, but that is just a testament to how strong and powerful Latinos are now as consumers.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point.
You know what I'm saying? You know, you put Bad Bunny and Crocs, like that is just like the weirdest combo right there. It's usually be like Bad Bunny and maybe Jordans, but no, Bad Bunny and Crocs. And they sold out in minutes, you know?
Like that.
Like minutes. And again, I had 4 devices and I couldn't get my hands on it. And we're going to finish it with Bad Bunny, who had a surprise concert a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, I think, right on a Sunday. It really is full circle because he started his concert in the Bronx, in the birthplace of hip hop, where, you know, forefathers and his kind of like ancestors grew up. And he starts it there. And he could have did this concert anywhere. He could have did it in Times Square. He could have did it at the Barclays. But no, he decided to do it outside of Yankee Stadium. Not inside, outside. And he's on top of a train.
Yeah, 100%.
That is graffiti. But did you see the train was graffiti?
Yes, I did. Straight up hip hop. Also, just a quick point, something that I didn't realize when I was watching it, he scheduled this concert the anniversary of Hurricane Maria.
Yes, and he does.
Yeah, that I didn't know. So there's multiple.
Bad Bunny does calculated things. He does very calculated things.
He did it in the birth of hip hop. He went to 3 Latino-dominated and people of color neighborhoods: the Bronx, Harlem, and Washington Heights. And he did it on the the anniversary of Hurricane Maria, which devastated the island of Puerto Rico.
And to piggyback on that, he played La Romana as soon as he entered Washington Heights.
Knowing it was a Dominican populated
he played La Romana on there. He gave props to the Dominicans, our Dominican brothers and sisters. And then he finished his concert in front of a hospital in Spanish Harlem.
Yes.
Where a lot of people, a lot of the first responders were working there, you know, for COVID, and a lot of people were suffering from that. And he finishes in Harlem, like, you know, where so many of his fans are. And no one knew this was happening. So you could be walking in the street and all of a sudden you just see Bad Bunny on a train truck.
People following him for blocks.
I mean, I was upset that I couldn't go over there. I was like, I would have ran after him too.
Yeah, for real. It was so cool though. This was a really nice moment.
Yeah, so, you know, again, I feel like Bad Bunny also gets a bad rap, but, you know, what can we do? That's just the essence of the music that we listen to. And
Bad Bunny gives a whole new meaning to traffic jam. The Puerto Rican singer and rapper rolled through parts of the Bronx and Washington Heights performing from atop a semi-truck. Fans were spotted running alongside the truck trying to catch a glimpse. The surprise concert was Bad Bunny's first of 2020 because of the pandemic. The special Hispanic Heritage Month concert was live streamed on his YouTube page.
I don't know if you saw that, but he had to watch out for the streetlights, right?
Oh, be careful.
That's one Bad Bunny.
So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of us just having a conversation about hip hop and how hip hop is so influential to us, and how we fell in love with hip hop. And, you know, there's a lot of, you know, new school artists right now that we have. Again, I already mentioned Snow the Product, Chris Rivers, that's on you, Mr. Ortiz.
All right, Chris Rivers, for those that don't know, I mean, would you say he has a resemblance to his pop somewhat or no?
I think his facial, he looks a little bit like his father.
For those who don't know, this is Big Pun's son. And in listening to his lyrics, you could tell that he's Big Pun's son. He's lyrics above all else, strictly hip hop. He has a real gritty New York sound to him, and he's just like his father did. He's repping his heritage.
Yes, and because Big Pun's name is Rios, that's his last name. So
yeah.
That's why he's Rivers, in case you wanted to know, like, why is Big Pun's name this and his name is something else.
Thank you for mentioning that, yeah.
Yes. And then we have J.I., the Prince of New York. I love this little guy, man. Like, he looks like he's 12, but...
I mean, he's really making it known. He's on the radio crazy right now.
Oh, yeah. You know, he was actually in a rap battle, like a show that Jermaine Dupri was running. And he was on the second season. He didn't even win that season. So he came in second place. And you don't even know anybody else who's on that rap show. You only know J.I., the Prince of New York. And he does rep his heritage as well. He does have the Puerto Rican flag in his videos. His videos are very, like, low budget, grimy, like what hip hop was, you know, that grimy, not a flashy type stuff. He does have a song with Mike Towers. Mike Towers, right?
Mike Towers.
Yes, it's called Spanglish. So he's also rapping in Spanish as well. So he's very into his heritage. He's, like you said, he's all over the radio. That song "Needed Me," which is a sample of the Maya and the Jay-Z song from back in the day. I don't know if you know this, but that song came out like a year and a half ago, and now it's kind of like
it finally blew up, huh?
Now it blew up, yeah.
It seems like the kid has a really bright future ahead of him.
And he has a
huge
social media following. Huge social media following. He's dropping, you know, mixtape after mixtape, and they're good. They're, you know, little bangers. And he's I like his lyrical flow because he's like really sarcastic, but he's like he sounds very wise. He sounds kind of like a little young Jay-Z, a little bit.
He looks straight body.
Oh, yeah. But he sounds like, I don't know if you've heard some of his stuff, Mr. Ortiz, but he does sound like a young Jay-Z.
Okay.
He has a little bit of that flow, but obviously with the Latin flavor to it. And he's from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Still lives in Brooklyn. So, you know, we're still relevant, guys. We're still there. We got our...
Yeah, these are just a few, but hopefully our future in hip-hop is the same as it's always been, which is prominent, you know?
Yes, you know, we got our reggaeton trap, we got our new school, we got our DJs, we got everything. And as hip hop evolves, so does our love for the musical genre evolves too, Mr. Ortiz. So
100%.
we're going to conclude our little panel with me and Mr. Ortiz. I wish I could break dance, but the way that my knees and stuff are set up right now, I can't do that no more.
I'm gonna have to take some DJ. For those that don't know, Miss Rosado she does DJing on the side. Just kidding.
Apparently.
But you are nice with the DJ skills. If anything, you got.
I gotta get a little bit better with that. But like again, I've always had a sound for the music, so that's how I fell in love with hip hop. It's just that beat drops, and it just brings me back. And here's just a few of our hip hop artists. And I hope that you enjoyed our little presentation and our little conversation. And I hope you learned something new about the Latino influence on hip hop and how influential we were to it and how it influenced us. And go, download some new music that you probably may have discovered. So anything that you need to say, Mr. Ortiz?
No, I'm just pretty much glad that we brought awareness to this topic. I have a love for hip hop. I have a pride for being Latino. So just bringing these two together, I was very happy to do so. And I hope you guys learned some stuff,
Yes, and at the end of the day, we're not just teachers. We are human beings, so we know exactly what you guys do talk about when it comes to these things, and that's all we got, right, Mr. Ortiz?
That's right.
All right, so have yourself a good night.
And happy Hispanic Heritage Month as well.
Yes, we got good 2 weeks about it, but you know what? It shouldn't just be a month. We should be proud and Latino 24/7, 365.
Okay.
Yep.